start recording now, because we try, just for everyone on the call, we've tried to record all of them, and they can all be found on my, well, most of them. Christina, she posts them about a week or 2 or 3 after the fact. And so they're all on our YouTube channel, and definitely would encourage you to go back, because boy, I think for Emmerich Peace, Charles Hollowell just brought the thunder and the rain. But we've been able to learn something from each speaker, and that's really what I've wanted this to be about, was just an opportunity to share and learn from those that are doing it at a very high level. And it's not always about production, even though everyone on the call, including you, are doing extremely well from a production standpoint. I just think that, one, we share because we care, and two, it's so much more fun when you do it all together. But because I can tell you, everyone who has participated on these calls, everyone is doing well, and we understand how challenging the market is, and I love supporting family. And I've exposed this to people who aren't with KW, because I don't care. I don't care if you're with KW or Ebby Halliday, because I've had a couple of Ebby friends jump on, EXP, Compass, because this isn't about trying to recruit you to Compass or EXP or Keller Williams. Man, this is nothing more than us just sharing ideas, best practices, and learning from each other. And so that's why I'm so excited about what we're doing here, and we're going to continue even into the new year. So I'll say that if there's someone that you'd like to see here, don't hesitate, man, to refer me if I don't already know. And I'm seeing some folks on here that I don't know. Hey, Latoya, Michelle, baby, what's going on? If Tia, thanks for joining in. Zeta D, if there's someone that that you admire, that again is doing it at a high level, don't hesitate to hit me up, because we, every week, my motto is we bring the meat. I don't mess around with the salad or an appetizer. This is all about meat here. So we're probably close. I've got that it's 10:30 straight up. So to be mindful of your time, we'll give them another 30 seconds, and then the floor will be yours.
All right.
Let's see. Yes. Okay.
How's it going, Brad Johnson?
Hello. Long time no see.
I know, right?
Nice. When Ben told me that you were going to be on, I'm thinking, I don't think I've seen him in 8 years.
Right. We've talked, but we hadn't seen each other in a while.
We've talked, but I don't think I've seen him in 8 years since he taught some Ignite classes way back when.
Right.
Crazy.
And Ben, kind of speaking on, helping out, Brad actually had a listing on the street, and I ended up picking up a listing. And so I reached out to him, and he was, very helpful and, giving me some market information on activity that was going on with his listing. And so that definitely helped us with pricing our listing, and we ended up getting it sold. So I definitely want to, thank him for that.
Absolutely. Well, again, that's just the culture of sharing that we have, because Brad knows he's one of my 2 guys I go to for off market, and I'm looking forward to he and I doing a deal together, or maybe even another deal. So I tell you what, now to again, to be mindful of everyone's time. I really appreciate everyone joining in. Trust me, there'll be another 2, 3, 4 that'll jump in the next minute or so. But without further ado, I want to welcome not just a partner, but my true friend. I feel like a proud papa, because without getting too deep, man, you know how much I just appreciate you and admire and love you, my brother. So I'll just let you take it, and so the floor is yours. So share what you will.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Like Ben said, we'll definitely be mindful of everyone's time. So the goal is to keep this under 15 minutes, and I'm a man of few words. So trust me, I will get you in on and off of here. So first of all, we definitely want to thank Ben Baker and his team, Christina, for inviting me. Ben reached out over the weekend and he was like, would you, be a presenter to my group? And I was like, sure. But what he didn't share with me was that I would end it for the year, which means that I have to really come with some meat, some good stuff. And so if I would have known that, I probably would have said no. But hey, here I am now. So definitely, once again, thanks. And before I get started, I want to kind of, share a story. And this is something I know Kelly was in Bold, Ben, myself, Nayeli. So a couple of people I shared when I came into the business almost 20 years ago. Ben Baker was my real estate agent. And so I was buying a house in Plano. At that time, I was in corporate America, got laid off because of the telecom bust. So got laid off in November. I was supposed to close on my house in December and worked out perfectly. So I backed out. And for those that have been around long enough, the earnest money was only like, I think $500 or $1,000. So fast forward to today, and what is earnest money now in new construction is ridiculous. But however, backed out. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I knew I wasn't going back to college or anything like that. And so Ben was like, hey, why don't you get into real estate? So I came in and for all my DPR people, I started at Keller Williams, Dallas Preston Road. So definitely hold that market center dear to my heart. And so one of the things that Ben did was he poured into me. He became an immediate mentor, helped me write contracts. If I had issues with clients, he was there to assist. And one of the things that he did was, because I didn't have really any book of business, he would allow me to work with some of his clients and give me, a portion of the commission. And so I am forever grateful for him for doing that. And so what I didn't share with him on the first time he heard it was in Bold was that I've adopted the words paying it forward. And so now anytime a new agent comes into our industry, regardless of their EXP or Keller Williams, Compass, whoever, mom and pop shop, doesn't matter. If you're a new agent, I'm going to pay it forward, pour into you. And the only thing that I ask is that you do the same for the next agent that comes along. And over the years, I've witnessed agents that I poured into, now it's becoming contagious, and now they're pouring into the next agent. And I hope that agent pours into the next agent. And so it just goes, that cycle goes on and on. And so I definitely, I always like to share that story now that I've started sharing it. And so I would definitely continue that. And so once again, Ben, I'll say thank you again for that. And so, but I'll go ahead and get started to the meat. And one of the things when he asked me, I was like, okay, I'm going to be, this presidential presenter. I'm going to wow the crowd. I'm going to get attaboys and high fives. And I'm just, everyone is just going to be all into it. And then I was like, you know what, let me just take a step back, deliver what is on my mind and my heart. And hopefully you all, take something from it. And so I have two quotes that I'm going to read. And then the third one that I'm going to read is really more of a question. And so if you see me kind of look away for a minute, it's because I'm kind of looking at my notes to kind of help keep me on track. So the two quotes that I'm going to read, and I'm not even for sure where this came from. It could have been maybe at a Keller Williams convention, mega camp, or somewhere. But it was something that I picked up over the years, and I've pretty much kept it on my motivation list. And so the first one is, successful people form the habit of doing what unsuccessful people don't want to do. The second one is, there's nothing you can't do if you get the habits right. And so I'll repeat those two quotes. Successful people form the habit of doing what unsuccessful people don't want to do. And the second quote is, there's nothing you can't do if you get the habits right. And so my question to everyone in the group, and it's also a question that I've been answering or going over in the last couple of months during this last quarter, is, where are your daily habits taking you? And so when you think about that, that can pretty much be habits in your personal life. It can be habits in your business life. And then those habits can be good habits or they can be bad habits. And so what I'll do is, use myself as an example and more so focus on the habits of our business. And so one of, when I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, what good and bad habits do I have that's affecting my real estate business? And the one that I came up with was I'm not lead generating on a daily basis. And so that is, a habit that I think maybe we all want to correct, or we definitely should want to correct. And so that was something that, I identified. And so when I looked at that bad habit of not consistently lead generating, at least Monday through Friday, I also had to take a look at my why. And then I also had to revisit my mindset, because I think once you establish your why, and your why can, be something, your big why can be your significant other. It can be your kids. It can be your parents. It's just identifying what that why is, and then creating a mindset to go out and create good habits to accomplish that why. And so I looked at those things, and then I was like, okay, well, in my opinion, your big why and your mindset are two components that will hold you accountable for your habits. Along with, of course, you have accountability partners, which I think that and the coach is definitely good, because they're going to ask the hard questions that you probably wouldn't ask of yourself. So even though you may have your why and your mindset being accountability components to creating or keeping your good habits, you still need that person that's going to tell you the truth. You're not lead generating. So what kind of cause, is that going to have, on your business? And so, like I mentioned earlier, myself, Ben, Kelly, and maybe a few others, we took Bold. And, I've taken Bold 9 times. So Kelly has, I believe, everyone beat in Keller Williams International. I think she's probably on 25 or 30. I'm not for sure. But one of the things about Bold is there's really nothing new under the sun when you take Bold. What makes Bold effective if you play all in is the accountability piece that is related with your team holding you accountable. And then you're also creating good habits. And more importantly, that one main habit is lead generating on a daily basis, making your 20 calls or 100 contacts within, a week. And so when people take Bold and they have success from it, it's because they went all in and they accepted and adopted accountability and daily habits. And so that is something that, like I said, there is nothing new under the sun. And that's why I take it. And I'm sure that's why Kelly, Ben take it so many times, is because for that 7-week period, one day out of the week, we are on accountability on a whole nother level. We're pumped, we're generating business, and we're, seeing that in the following quarter. So for all of us that took it this last quarter here, hopefully now that we finished Bold, that we still continue that level of accountability, continue those daily habits. And first quarter of next year, we should hopefully start seeing some results if we're not, immediately seeing it now. And so speaking of accountability, like I said, with the exception of Ben, maybe 1 or 2 on here, I did not come out of high school or college saying that I'm going to be a real estate agent. I came out of high school, or in this case, came out of college and went straight into corporate America. And so when you think about when you work for corporate America, you have accountability. You have, if your schedule is 8 to 5, 9 to 5, that's what you're doing. If you have projects, tasks, you are completing those during that 7-8 hour window. If you don't finish, of course, you're picking it up on the next day. And the reason why we do what we're supposed to do when we're in corporate America is because we have that accountability. We have a team lead, we have a manager, whoever we're reporting to. And we know that if we don't do those tasks or complete those habits that we're supposed to do, that we risk a chance of being fired. So then the question is, as agents, as business owners, why don't we take that same level of accountability and habits and move it over into our real estate business? I always tell people, as agents, we can be our own worst boss. We go to realtor parties, and I'm guilty of this, but we go to realtor parties the night before, and I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and sleep in until 9 or maybe even 10. I'll take a 2-hour lunch and goof off, and then if I don't have any appointments, my day is done by 4 or 5. I'm like, where's happy hour? And so that is not a recipe for being, successful in this business. And when you look at high achievers or agents that are doing it on a high level, they time block, they form, which is basically forming habits, and they have accountability. And so, like I mentioned, when I, brought up that question of what are your daily habits taking you, it really made me, revisit my why, take a look at my mindset, but then also look at my time blocking. And so now I pretty much started working on this the last quarter. I'm getting up around 5:30. And so not to go too deep into my schedule for the entire day, I'll just touch on two things which really stood out for me is from 5:30 to 6, that's kind of like my me time. I'm doing some little light exercising. And for you health nuts who go to the gym hour every day and all of that, that's not me. If you know me, I'm a very slim guy, so I don't fluctuate in my weight. So I'm like, there's no need for me to work out, every day. However, we know that working out is healthy. And so what I'm doing is I always believe in you got to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. And so now I'm starting off small. So during that 30 minutes, I'm doing some light workout and it's from the house. So I'm doing some push-ups or some sit-ups, doing some stretching, things of that sort. And for me, that's, a good habit that I'm creating. And then from there, the plan is to go from 15 minutes to possibly 30 minutes to being like Ben and whoever else on here, going to the actual gym and doing some, some workouts. And so when I looked at the habits that I'm creating from my time blocking, that is something that, that really stood out. And the second thing that really stood out is the time that I take to read. So I have another 30-minute segment where I'm reading, and I believe that time is from 6:30 to 7. And so during that time, I love to read. The crazy thing is I love to read, but I don't find time to read, or if I'm reading a book, it takes me 2 or 3 months to get through it versus if I time block that time, I can probably knock it out. For those that took bold growth plan, I can probably knock it out in 30 days. So having that 30-minute window of just reading has been very helpful as well. I'm real big on reading like our Realtor magazines, the Texas one, the national publication. And, those come out like monthly or every 2 months. And so I was so behind on those. I think I was probably like 16 magazines behind. I'm like, man, so I would keep them in my car. And so whenever I was at an appointment and the client was showing up late, I would use that time to kind of read. However, now that I've time blocked 30 minutes every morning to read, I went from having those 16 magazines to now 0 because I focused on, or I've set that time aside to actually focus on that. And so that's, one of the beauties of time blocking is you'll be amazed if you time block, create those habits and do what you're supposed to do throughout the day, how much you get accomplished. It's just, it's mind blowing, but it's just so, amazing to me. And so, I'll say this whole process is simple, but it's not easy. Trust me, I get up every day and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and sleep in today. So it's an ongoing battle. And that's why, well, like I said, having that accountability partner, a coach, someone that's going to hold you accountable and ask you, did you make your calls today? Did you get up this morning and do your light exercise or whatever is on your schedule? And so one thing that I'll leave everyone with is as we go into these last, 2 weeks, we know it's, holidays are pretty much upon us and, the first of the year is coming up. I'm going to ended with what I started with. And the question is, where are your daily habits taking you? And during that time, also identify, or revisit your why, work on your mindset and use, like I said, these last couple of weeks to go into the new year, starting off as a bang. Now wait until January 1 to visit all this. Go ahead and use these last couple of weeks to start working on that. So that way, come January 1, you're not crawling anymore. Now you're walking, possibly running. And so that's pretty much all that I have, and not sure if I left some ahas or whatever, but I feel good about myself. So
hey, bro, and that's what counts. I appreciate you. And again, what habits are you creating? I think that, for everyone on the call, what habits are you creating? And I love the fact that is and I don't think that you're necessarily an early morning person, but again, that's a great habit. And I've looked at even shaving, getting to the office 15 minutes 30 minutes early for our huddles instead of doing them at my house, actually doing them at my desk. And I know that it makes a difference. And I know Christina is working at trying to get in a little earlier than 10 o'clock, right? It's the small things we do. And I love the fact, and honestly, that's the reason why I wanted you on the call, is because I was unaware. I was unaware of you paying it forward. And I think that we're so much alike because we've always done that. Investing in you was easy because, one, you're a great guy, and I saw the want to in you. And I would challenge everybody on this call. There's someone that you can mentor, coach, be accountable to, and I would encourage us all to do that. Let's lift each other up, because that's what this is all about. You know, I appreciate you, man, more than you know. And I'm looking forward to everyone on this call, and even those who couldn't make it, to just knocking it out of the park in 2022, because I think that it's going to be a challenging year. But for those of us that are prepared, supportive, and keep lifting each other up, we're all going to win in the end. And then we can celebrate and slap those high fives that you mentioned, right? And really enjoy this journey together. So unless you've got a parting word for us.
I got something.
Oh, B. Johnson, what you got?
So I want to emphasize what Orlando said, the fact that this is simple, but not easy.
Amen.
Right?
It's a bold law.
It's very simple, but it's not easy. Do the basics and it'll come.
Amen. Amen. Well, again, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. And I wish everyone a very happy holiday season and Merry Christmas to those. And again, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, and you'll get the notice. I'm not sure which Tuesday that is after the new year, but again, we'll continue to bring the meat. No salad, no appetizer at all. You know, I appreciate you bringing it, man, because again, it makes you think, right? Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act, which is another bold law. So guys, be safe for those that are in the car. Scotty, appreciate you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for jumping on, everyone. Love you. Y'all be well.
All right. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Take care.
Happy holidays. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for the prime rib every time, Ben.
Right.
Thank you, Orlando. God bless you.
You're welcome.
See you, babe. Y'all be well.
Bye-bye.
Good job, O. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Let's see.
Stop recording.
Damn.